welcome back to my channel and to today's video, which as promised is going to be a thorough and most importantly a very honest review of the Australian brand Dissh. At least I think that's how you pronounce it. It's got two S's. And I'm sure many of you might have heard of this brand before. It's kind of become a bit of an it brand. It's been popping up on Instagram for the last few years. I placed my first order with them about 3 years ago, and I've placed 3 orders with them in total. Now, in today's video, I said this was going to be thorough, so I'm going to be touching on lots of different points. I'm going to be touching on environment, shipping, returns, ordering, sizes, quality, and then I'm also going to try on the pieces that I've got. A lot of these are old and no longer available, but I have got some items toward the end there which are still available. So if things are available, I'll link them down below and give you guys information on sizes that I'm wearing of those pieces as well. So Dissh, as mentioned, it is an Australian brand. It is female founded, female owned, and if I'm being honest, they are just a brand which has been very, very, very clever with their marketing. They have created a brand and an all-round aesthetic which has just become incredibly popular. And I think that has very much led to the success of their brand. Now, this video is going to be a bit of a mixed review. There are definitely some negatives to be spoken about with Dissh, but one thing that they do very well is linen. And linen is one of my favourite things, especially for the spring-summer season. I've always loved linen, as those of you who are regulars here will know. And the linen aspect of their brand, their linen collections, is very much what drew me in. And I stumbled across them, their actual account. It came up on my For You page about just over 3 years ago, and that is how I kind of became aware of the brand. I saw that they had some linen pieces, some really nice linen summer dresses, and that was my first order. So the first things I was drawn to when making my first order back in 2021, were the muted colours, which of course are very much my aesthetic, and then the timeless linen designs that Dissh had to offer. Now, 3 years on and these pieces are still incredibly wearable, and they play a key role in my summer wardrobe year after year. And I'm able to dress them up or dress them down as needed. So they're versatile, which is always something that I am on the lookout for. However, being completely honest, I have been a bit disappointed with the quality of some items, especially when you're taking into consideration the higher price points. So, for example, I've had a strap break on one dress and then a button come off the fastening of another dress. And although these were like easy repairs for me to make, I just think that for upwards of $150 per dress, the quality really should be of a much higher standard than this. So whilst I still love the overall aesthetic of the brand and I love the pieces that I've bought over the years, the quality just isn't consistent across all of their pieces. And unfortunately, this can then be problematic if you're ordering from outside of Australia, from further afield. Right, gonna have a break from trying on and gonna just discuss environmental factors when it comes to Dissh. The first of which being the most obvious, and that is that they are an Australian brand. So I think it is fair to touch on the point that unless you live in Australia, it's probably not the most eco-friendly brand to be purchasing because they are so far away. So if, like me, you're in the UK, the US or the rest of Europe, any other country, then obviously it is not the most responsible brand to be buying from in terms of that carbon footprint. That said, who out there buys bananas that are not grown in your own country? And various other fruits and smartphones that are made in China and Japan. So I think we all kind of have to pick our battles. Now, the second point that I'm going to mention is that they do use a lot of linen. And linen is one of the better fabrics to use in terms of consumption of natural resources. So it is it has less environmental impact on the planet in comparison to something like cotton, which obviously uses an incredible amount of water. That's not to say that this is in any way an environmentally friendly brand. I think we all kind of have to come to terms with the fact that if a brand is creating new items, it is not sustainable. It's just not. But like many brands today, they do have a little sustainability report or little eco-friendly section on their website, which gives us all as customers the details to what they're doing to improve their environmental impact. And if I'm being very honest, it just looks like the same old waffle that comes from most other brands. Enhancing commitments to make positive changes. And you know, I think a lot of brands use that kind of terminology these days. There was a little section on there about their packaging and how they now use recycled plastic packaging, and the mailing bags are now not plastic, probably some sort of vegetable starch. These are like really basic changes, which I think any brand should have made by now. And by no means I am not an eco warrior. I am not an eco-friendly or a sustainable influencer by any means. I just try and think about purchases and try and make content for you guys that perhaps helps prevent making mistake purchases, if that makes any sense. But yes, I think sustainability wise, they just sit in amongst most other brands. Right, let's go back to the rail and let's have a look at my next items. So these are all old, but they are still available, and these I think are one of their best sellers. So this is the linen suit, which has become very, very popular now with Dissh. I believe the vest is called the Banks vest, and the matching trousers are called the Nora pants. Again, I'll leave links and size information, etc. down below in the description box. So I have the vest, or it's a waistcoat, that's what I would call it, in 3 different colours. I have the black, I have the butter, which is a creamy off-white colour, and then I have the actual white colour. The white one is probably my most worn, because when it comes to summer season and I pop on that fake tan, I do like the look of white against tanned skin. So the white one has been my most worn because I also have the matching trousers, so that does make a full suit. So each of the vests are again double-faced, double the fabric, so that they prevent any of that sort of see-through effect coming through. I tend to wear mine with a really thin sort of triangle non-padded bra because they are quite deep cut, and I feel like if you're wearing something like a t-shirt bra where the cups are a bit higher, they can become quite visible. However, wearing without a bra is a little bit risky without the use of some sort of tape to secure it in place, because it's not the best cut of a waistcoat I've ever seen, and there isn't any adjustable section on the back, so it is what it is. It could really do with some extra darts to make it a little bit more fitted in certain areas. Because as you can see here, there's no darts on the front bit like there is in some of the dresses, which would then shape to a woman's body. It is quite sort of flat. So yes, wearing without a bra, if moving around and things, is just, for me personally, not an option. But they are really, again, simple pieces. I've been getting these out of my wardrobe and wearing them a lot in the summer seasons, and will continue to do so. And then moving on to the trousers, the Nora pants. These are, funnily enough, I've got these in 2 colours, so the white and the natural colour. And the natural colour I do sometimes wear with the matching crop top. Now, one thing is that these are probably, and I'll have to fact check myself on this, but these are $99.99 US. And I'll go more into price and stuff in a minute, but these are, from what I can remember, the least expensive item within the linen range. And yet I find these to be the most substantial and the most well-made items within the linen collection. So the fact that they're actually the cheapest, and please don't quote me on that, but it just doesn't make any sense to me, because there's more fabric used in these than there is in some of the very, very thin single fabric dresses. So these actually are better value in my opinion. Yeah, just a really classic. These are probably the #1 purchase of mine, which I'm really happy with and that I do genuinely think were worth the money that I paid for them. Which leads me on to price and delivery and customs. So just looking on the Dissh website, they do have a range of items, but I feel like they don't have too much choice. There's not pages and pages and pages and pages like you get with a lot of brands. They do have really concise kind of a configuration on their website, which will take you to whatever collection you want to go to, and I'm often looking at the linen collection. So you're looking at around about, excluding their sale, around about $150 or $149.99 US for a dress. This obviously does vary depending on the style of dress, but that's around about the mark you're looking at. The Nora pants, as I mentioned, are $99.99 US. So if you are shopping from the UK, it does take you to the website that is priced in US dollars. If you are shopping from, I believe, if you're shopping from any other country bar the US and Europe, it takes you to the Australian website where you then shop in Australian dollars. But for the US and Europe, we are shopping in US dollars. So it's important to remember that so that you can use some kind of currency converter to see how much your order is going to be. But in a minute, I am going to just calculate and tell you how much my US dollar order cost in UK pounds, including all of the other extra charges on top. Now, in terms of shipping, I do find that their shipping is actually a positive. They use DHL. It's really quick. My last order arrived, I think it was 3 days, and that's because I paid my customs charge super quick. But it did arrive in 3 days, and that was free shipping. So in the US and Europe, you do get free shipping on orders over $100. Given the fact that dresses are around about the $150 mark, it's quite easy to get free shipping. If you're looking at buying a basic vest from Dissh and that's it, which is going to be about maybe $40 to $50, don't bother. There are ample places to buy a basic vest. Do not bother buying that from Dissh. If you want express shipping, the normal shipping from DHL is about 3 to 7 days. That's what it says on their website. If you want express shipping, which is a day or two quicker, I personally have never tried that myself because 3 days shipping is already pretty quick given that it's coming from Australia. It is $10 extra for, again, the US and Europe. So adding that $10 onto your basket value, just if you want express shipping. I wouldn't recommend. And then for all other countries, there is a section on the Dissh website where you can visit dish.au and you will get a shipping quote for your order. Right, customs charges, because I know a lot of you are going to be curious about this. So you will have to pay customs charges depending on where you live. And they will vary based on many different factors. What you are having shipped into the country, and it's not just clothing. There are lots of mini categories within clothing. Woven clothing, cotton clothing, this, that and the other. I just did a bit of research on it the other day and it's crazy how many mini categories there are just within clothing. Then it's going to depend on the item value or order value that you've got, and then of course whatever country you are, because everyone's custom charges are different. So I did some maths on my most recent order, the order that I placed this year. So I ordered 5 items, and excuse me because I don't normally read things off my notes, but for this I'm going to have to. So I ordered a skirt at $119.99. I ordered a mini dress for $149.99, a waistcoat, or as they call it, vest, for $149.99, trousers $149.99, other trousers $99.99. The total in US dollars of my basket, because I had free shipping as it was over $100, was $669.95. When this came through on my bank card, it worked out to be $554.91. So you will probably get charged by your bank, depending on your bank. My charge was $14.85 for that currency conversion. So that's another little hidden charge just to be aware of. It will depend on if you're using a credit card or your bank. Those charges will vary. I then got a customs charge of £112.17. Now what DHL do, because your customs charge is payable to DHL, not to Dissh, and it is payable only after you've placed your order. So a lot of brands will often include the customs charge, which is great because it then means that you have no nasty surprises. Unfortunately, Dissh is not one of those brands, so you could use some customs charge calculators. There are some of those available online. I personally haven't used one. I just sort of know by now a rough sort of customs charge that I'm going to get. And DHL will send you a text message and an email with a link in which to pay your customs charge. Now this happens as soon as your order enters your country, so it's at the airport when your item enters the country. Your order will then continue to make its way to you up until a certain point. So my advice would be to pay that customs charge ASAP in order to keep that order moving along in the right speed. I believe my order arrived in the country the day after I placed the order. I then paid my customs charge as soon as I got that text message, and then it arrived by DHL the following day. So I just had 3 days since I ordered for that to arrive. So it was really speedy. So continuing on with the maths, so that we can just get a gauge of price here. So for those 5 items, which I'm going to try on for you guys in a minute, that was a total now in UK pounds, including that customs charge, of £667.08. which, if we work that out as an average, is £133.41 per piece. Which, that's a lot, isn't it? It's a lot of money. And one thing I will say before I get on to trying on those items is that whilst Dissh has a very nice aesthetic, it is definitely possible to get Dissh style items at a similar or better quality here in the UK and probably throughout the rest of Europe. Now what I've done is I've actually compiled a blog post of various different brands: Marks and Sparks, Uniqlo, COS, Arket, Zara, H&M. I've compiled a huge blog post full of Dissh style items which are way more reasonably priced than purchasing from Dissh. So if you like the all-round vibe and aesthetic, and if you like a bit of linen, then I will leave a link to that blog post down below in the description box. You guys can just go and have a nosy and peruse at that if you wish. Right, so let's have a look at those new in pieces which I did order. I'm going to start off with these 2, which I did want to order. As I said at the beginning, I wanted to order a couple of pieces that weren't linen just so that I could see. So these are the new Celine items, and I'll give you just one guess as to why I ordered these. So I ordered the vest waistcoat, which obviously I haven't worn yet, new. And this is a longer line waistcoat. It is definitely a more flattering fit and cut than the Banks linen waistcoats. But I think this has a very different vibe to it. It's not the same sort of linen-y, beachy sort of vibe. This is definitely more suiting. And on the back it has a tie, which I think makes all the difference because you can just nip it in the waist a little bit more. And then I ordered the matching trousers, and this particular set also comes in 2 colours. I believe the other colour is a black, but As it's me, of course, I do like my neutrals. So those are the two non-linen items that I ordered. They definitely feel nice. The fabric feels nice, it drapes nicely, especially in the trousers, but it does feel substantial as well. It doesn't feel lightweight or flimsy, and it is a really, really nice set. That said, as I just said with regards to any of the linen stuff, I think these are pieces that you can find with a bit of patience and with a bit of hunting out and time spent online or out shopping, etc. They are pieces that you can still find elsewhere without having to order all the way from Australia. My next item is a linen mini dress, and this does not feel substantial at all. It feels nice and lightweight, which obviously is great for summer, but it just, I don't know, there's not much shape to this. I actually like it, but I'm just trying to be honest about it. I do like it, but there is not really much shape to it. This little cowl section at the front, which I think is supposed to add a bit of detail, is just pinned at the front with a couple of stitches. So it's not exactly the most well-made thing that I've ever seen, given the price. This was $149.99, $150. Is it worth it? No, it is not. So this is not something I would recommend purchasing unless it went in the sale and you lived in Australia and therefore had no customs charges. Nonetheless, it is a cute little dress. I think I will get wear out of that this summer. But yeah, I don't know, it's not really much to say about it. It is very basic, which is a pro, but not worth the money at all. And then I also ordered a skirt because, and it is from the linen collection, my apologies, but skirts are having another moment. They had a moment in the early noughties, they've come back and they're having another moment. But the thing that I liked about this one particular is that it is short, and as I mentioned in my last video with skirts, I either like them short or I like them midi or maxi. I don't like them longer in my sort of thigh area. I would like mini. And the thing that I like about this also is that it is skirt on the front and skirt on the back. It does have that wrap detail here where it reveals the shorts underneath, but it does look like a skirt from all angles, but has the safety of the shorts inside. Now this was $119.99 if I remember correctly, so $120. Worth the money? Nope. Especially not with those customs charges. Again, I think whilst this is nicer than the Uniqlo one that I tried on in last week's video, I do think that there's going to be a lot of brands coming out with stuff like this. So that made up the 5 items from my new order. Returns. Full disclosure, I have not used their returns process, and I think the general consensus is because it is a bit of a faff, and because it is so far away, it is inevitable that you're going to get charged to do a return. And you are. The irony of this is that you're charged $10 US dollars, let me get that right, for express shipping. But we're getting charged $20 US dollars to send items back. And then remember, on top of that, you also won't get back any customs charges. So once you've paid those customs charges for goods entering the UK, if you're sending stuff back, you won't get those customs charges back. So the general consensus, I think, amongst a lot of people that are ordering from Dissh is that if you order something and it is not the right size, or you just don't like it when it arrives, then it's probably better to sell it on using Vinted or eBay, or I think there's even some Facebook groups for Dissh items because there'll be people that are looking for certain sizes of certain products. So I think it's actually a better idea just to sell that item yourself rather than attempting to use the returns process. But again, I haven't used the returns process. Probably more beneficial for you guys that do live in Australia because it is less of a faff. But for those of us in the US, Europe, I wouldn't bother. So this is why when ordering from brands like this, if you are absolutely going to, this is why reading reviews and watching videos like mine is going to be really beneficial to you when it comes to seeing what a product actually looks like on somebody, a normal body and not a model body, and hearing about size, because I think size is the one thing where a lot of us will take a bit of a wrong turn. So I have left all of the sizing information and my measurements, etc. down below in the description box so that you guys know what size I am and how to kind of compare if you were going to order from Dissh. Final thought, is Dissh worth ordering from? I am gonna say no, because I'd prefer for you guys to save your money and not waste it on items which A, are not the finest of qualities. If there is something that you really, really like, a dress that you just can't find the same anywhere else, fine, but I would advise having a look pre-loved, having a look on Vinted, on eBay, searching for these Facebook groups that sell Dissh pre-loved. Or even, not even pre-loved, but ordered and you just don't want to send it back. Because I think there are savings to be made elsewhere, and definitely just read reviews if you are going to order. But I will remind you again about the blog post that I've made for getting that Dissh style and that Dissh vibe and aesthetic, but from brands which are more readily available in the UK, Europe and US. Right. Okay, bit of a different one today, but I hope you enjoyed it, and I would like to thank you as always for watching. A few of you have mentioned to me that you are not being, if you're subscribed to my channel, you're not actually being notified that I've uploaded a new video. So just a reminder to hit that little bell that you see on screen, which will notify you when I am uploading a video, just so that you don't miss them. That's it. I'm gonna go and have something to eat. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.